the next speaker will be Huberta Anyżewskiego. Please welcome him very warmly. So please applause. And Hubert will deliver a talk about HumanTech in practice. So we will continue this topic, and Hubert is our former student, but now is a very experienced person with international experience. You may find and you may read his experience. But I have to underline that he is very well known in this area in design, UX, and I think you can meet Hubert in many conferences. So today Hubert is with us, and please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Hello, guys. I hope that you are not tired. We just need a few minutes because we are changing the deck. So maybe I will tell a few words about myself. So in general, I'm from the field of design, so from the blue field, from the past presentation. I've got 20 years in business. I built and work in Poland. I established few companies. I sold few companies in Poland and abroad. I made over 500 projects for over 45 markets, including Korean market, including Africa, including US, of course, Great Britain, and so on. I was a founder. I built few startups. I like to build things. I think about myself as a designer, as a person who establishes things, so establishing products, establishing companies. That's my hobby. That's the thing when I feel comfortable. I've got also experience in working in VC, and right now I'm connected with the VC industry, so venture capitalist. So I managed not only my own money, because in the past I was investing my own money as an angel investor, but also I'm managing, and I've got experience in managing different money from the different investors. Right now I established Axel Point. This is an accelerator. We have in capitalization over $10 million, and we are helping to build startups from the scratch in the venture building approach, and also we are scaling in the region established startups. So if you're interested, please check out axelpoint.pl. Today I was invited to tell you more about my cooperation with university SWPS. I graduated that in university in the past. I graduate field which is called human-computer interaction, and for 10 years I had privilege to manage first, and as I know, one of the biggest in the region, postgraduate studies focusing on building products, especially digital products. So it's product design and UX. It was started from the UX. Right now we are moving a bit to the field more of the product design. Okay, so let's go through. No, it's not so easy. Oh, okay, so this is the gentleman called Don Norman. In 90s, he was a vice president of a group called Apple, and he he established a term UX design. What's interesting is that right now we are thinking about UX as a digital discipline only, but from the scratch, from the beginning, Don invented that term because human interface and usability was too narrow for him. He was working on the how to build a laptop, how to build the notebook, and that was his work. And what he was interested in, he was thinking about industrial design and physical design, graphic design. So all of those aspects built a product, and that's the reason why he invented that term. So UX design is not only focusing on web services, on mobile applications, but of course right now this is the field where we have most of the digital products, but it's also connected with physical interaction and physical design or industry design. It's good to mention and underline that UX, it's not a new discipline. Maybe the term, the label is quite new because it was invented in the 90s, but it's based on a research and theory from psychology, and not only psychology, which was invented many, many years ago. So we are focusing on human behaviors, we are focusing on how the humans as animals are reacting, acting, what are the interactions between the humans, and technology is one of the aspects of building products. So in the modern approach of design and building digital products, we are going back to the fields and theories about human as we know. This discipline, this field, is connecting many, many dots. We used to say that UX is between technology, business, and design. We like the designer, the UX designers should have this mindset of those three areas and should understand the language, the limitations, the approach, and the motivations from all of those three. You can also find those kinds of infographics where people are describing UX design as many disciplines inside. I mean, UX is connected with graphic design, is connected with ergonomics, usability, is connected with interaction design, is connected with psychology as well. So it's connecting many, many dots. It's not focusing only on technology, only on graphic design, only on interactive design. So to sum up, user experience, it's not only how the things looks, but how it feels and how it's working. And the second and the third one is even more important than the first one. So today I mentioned that I will be talking about the user experience design studies that we have this privilege to have on university in 3 cities. So what we are focusing on? We are focusing on designing amazing digital products with our students. To give you the background, we are 10 years on the market. We are in 3 cities. We've got over 50 experts, lecturers who are teaching, making interactive workshops and so on during the studies. We have almost 200 students on each year, every year. We made over 200 products, tested products. It's called MVPs, clickable MVPs. And we have over 1,000 graduations. Those 3 people are working in different cities and connecting strength to to put the best quality as we can on the market and to shape the market. I had the privilege to be the first one who established these studies, and it's working quite well. So here are the real pictures from the graduation in Warsaw, in Katowice, and in Wrocław as well. And here is once again in Warsaw. How the program looks like and how you can teach UX, how you can teach design, how you can teach interactive or collaborative processes, how to build products in the interdisciplinary world. The whole course takes 1 year. We have 16 meetings during the weekends, and between those meetings, students are working in the groups. We are making random groups with random selected mentors to the groups. So the group is built by 5 people in the group plus mentor. People are working between the meetings, and they are preparing 5 small products. These are the 5 steps going through the process of building digital product. And on the end, there is a prototype, there is an MVP, and this MVP and the prototype is tested, and there is a phase of pitching that product and answering questions to that product. So it's a pitching time. 95% of satisfaction. This is the level of satisfaction which was declared by students in the past 5 years in all of those 3 cities. I think it's quite amazing to have 95% of the satisfaction for the 5 years from the 3 cities. So it's right now, it's very challenging to keep this level of the satisfaction, to be honest. Our program and our approach is quite new because we build it by ourselves, but we are focusing on the best practice on the market. So, as was mentioned, we are focusing on the design thinking process. Here you can see the process made by Stanford School, but of course, as we know, design thinking was discovered by IDEO in the beginning by Mr. Kelly, but Stanford is promoting and shaping this design thinking process. To be honest, in my opinion, but not only mine, all of the design processes that we have right now on the market, and it's very popular to have my own. For example, I was working for 2 years as a partner in Deloitte Central Europe, and of course Deloitte got their own designing process. But to be honest, Deloitte process, Google Design Sprint, Stanford Design Thinking, all of those processes looks the same. And all of those are focusing on the main 5 steps. The first one is to understand the user, to make a research, to understand the customer, the user. The second one is to define what we are building, to build personas, to make some decisions. Then we need to modulate the process, then we build the prototype, then we test the prototype, and so on. So in general, those processes are similar. On the right, you can see our process and the labels that we are using. So it's not emphasized, but it's a user research. We don't call it define, but we call it product strategy, and so on and so on. Here are just few pictures with experts. What is quite amazing, in my opinion, and it was built from the day one, it's that we have not only the regular expert in the lectures. We don't have only the mentor that is with the group for the whole journey. I mean, from the day one to the last day, but there are also experts in those 5 steps. So when the student is going through the course, there are regular lectures, regular workshops, but the group is delivering small piece of the product and is collecting in the open form feedback from the expert. And for all that time, the mentor is like a guide working with the group, inside the group. And so it's not so easy to organize that whole structure, especially in free cities. But I think that's the clue. I mean, those experts and those mentors are the clue, and if I may say it, it is like a sweet spot of the studies, yes? Because those people are building this 95% of the satisfaction, because the groups are all the time with somebody who is guiding, who is giving them guidance, and who is helping them on the different steps of the process. So we are making researches, we are making IDIs, we are making sometimes research in the field. We've got plenty of methods that we can use. Generally, we want to understand the user. What are the limitations, motivations, and so on, from the point of the human factors, from the point of the psychology. Then we build the strategy for the product. We don't like to focus on the monetization. We don't want to focus on a budget. We mostly want to focus on the value proposition. Why 100,000 users will use that product? That's our goal. Because if we will find this group of people who will be using the product, then we will find plenty of business analysts and consultants who will tell us how to earn on that product. We want designers to focus more on the product and value proposition than on the business side. Of course, we are using plenty of canvases, whiteboards, and visual thinking and stuff like that. Modeling. Modeling, it's part of the journey when we are focusing on the user flow, when we are focusing on the mechanics of the product, when you cannot see the product yet, but you are building the whole process and the steps in that product. It's very interesting field. Prototyping, this is like a cherry on the cake, because if you analyze your group of users and you know something about them and you've got some insight and you are building the product on top of that insights, and also you build personas and so on, and you've got some kind of a shape of the strategy of the product, so you know where is the tree and how we should go to the tree, and then you are after a modeling phase, so you know how the user flow should look like, how many users, scenario users, stories we want to cover, and so on. Then prototyping that product is like a cherry on the cake. So now you can see the user interfaces, now you can see the interaction. Of course, it's the most visible part of the process. But from our perspective, it's something which we work on the end of this journey. Of course, we are prototyping on the paper at the first, then we are prototyping on the computers, then we've got clickable products, and we can test those products. We invest in a special software and special hardware to analyze and to test, to make a usability testing, not only in the laboratories, but also in the field. So it's possible for students to grab the stuff, grab the hardware and go to, I don't know, to the city or to the other places where the users are and test the solution in the natural context or natural field for the user. Pitching time. Pitching time, we used to call it pitching time because it's very similar to the pitching phase where a startup is pitching in front of the investor, because the students got about half of an hour to present the product and to convince the jury that this product is well done design. We are not talking about the process, but we are talking about the product. So we are showing the use cases, we are showing how the students are showing use cases, the students are showing how the product is working, and the students are trying to convince the jury that this product is well designed. So, to sum up, today we are talking about the interdisciplinary. So from the day one, we are focused on building interdisciplinary teams because it's a postgraduate studies. So people are about 35 years old or higher, and they are coming with a different background. They've got different graduations. They've got different experience from the work. So building those five persons in a group, so building those teams in the random way, it's very interesting and not so easy, to be honest, because it's challenging for the people. They've got different styles of communication, they've got different styles of working, so it's not so easy to build that. But we've got mentors inside those groups, so they are helping and they are facilitating and moderating conflicts if there will be some. But interdisciplinary is super important for us, and in my opinion, this is probably one of the best outcomes from the studies. How to communicate for 1 year in the group of random people that I will meet on the studies. Mentor, not part-time mentor, but mentor fully committed to the group, which is dedicated to the group and is with the group from the day one to the last day. Building products step by step, so showing the students the whole process. It's a waterfall process, but we are showing them how it could look like. In the future, students, designers will choose their methods and their different ways to do stuff, but on the studies we are presenting the whole spectrum of the process. Testing product with users, so it's interactive process, so they've got a feedback from the real group, from the real users, and they can change things after every step in the process, but also on the end when the product is tested. It's a normal, regular usability test, and we are teaching students how to do that. Pitching time is, I think it's also quite interesting because it's a last period of time on the studies, but it's very challenging to present in this small amount of time product and the value proposition from the product. So it's very interesting what students can figure out to convince the judges and how they present products. They are building videos, they are telling stories, they are showing the use cases, so it's very interesting for us. Right now, because we've been doing that for over almost 10 years right now. It's a 10th edition of the studies. And there was a need which was described by students to make a follow-up, to make a continuation of those studies. So that's the reason why just a few days ago I established a level up. It's called Product Design Masterclass. If you will be interested, just please feel free to check it out on a university website. It's called podyplomowe.pl. And that's all. Thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.